Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Like us on Facebook.
Thanks for joining us.
Keep listening to our weekly episodes to find out more.
Are you ready?
Hey everybody, and welcome to Book Chat. I'm your host, author Vivian E. Moore. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. I hope you had a great week. I hope you're ready for today's show. I don't plan to keep you for too long, so we're going to get straight to it. So the title of today's show is Winning, and the topic is Overcoming by Achieving. Okay, so everyone wants to win and never lose. It's part of the human psyche, desiring always to end up on top and not the bottom. It's a sense of self-preservation, and we all came equipped with this defense mechanism that keeps us striving even when the road that leads to victory is far ahead of us. Well, we all know that sometimes we must lose a few rounds to be victorious, no matter our pursuits. And despite popular opinion, losing isn't always a bad thing. I mean, it teaches us humility. And I think we all, from time to time, need a dose of that. And it's something that we all need to understand better, and how to appreciate what it means to win when we do win. Winning it's like a mountaintop experience. It's exhilarating and it's powerful, whereas losing is like the polar opposite. And no one likes the downside of not achieving any goal. So I want to talk to you today about overcoming by achieving. What does this mean? Well, it means first, overcoming the agony of defeat and pushing through many losses without giving up. That's what it means. Now, how many stories have you read or even viewed on television about people who fought to get to where they are? You know, the struggle is real. And don't be fooled by overnight success stories. I mean, they happen, but they are far and few in between. And not to say that it's not possible, nor it's ever happened, because it has. You know, sometimes you do hear those stories that about people who have, on their first go around, made it to the top. So, I mean, it does happen, but it's rare. So you need to remember that it doesn't happen for everybody on that first try. Though, but I'm willing to believe that most true success stories that are floating around came by overcoming some trial that set them back a country mile before they were triumphant, and not winners straight out the gate. Just like I said before, I can think of so many other people who have been in this position that are willing to talk about not always being successful, and having to work really, really hard to obtain the success that they have. And I think that to me is a it's a very good example of hard work, first of all, but not giving up and not giving in to loss, but just to keep striving. So and don't let anyone tell you who hasn't struggled that winning is easy, because that's not true. Winning comes at a price. And the best way to smooth the discomfort of losing is through overcoming by achieving. Some of the most prolific writers of our times have shared their very own, very personal and real stories of rejection before acceptance happened. I had to turn it off. It was annoying. It's nothing to be ashamed of, because it's only the reality of how unpredictable life can be. And it's okay, although we want to win on every try, more often than not, we must try again before this happens, because victory is sweet and you should savor those moments when they come. But just be ready to recognize most wins are followed by failure. And don't be discouraged by this. Failure is only valid when you give up. It is also a strength builder instead of a letdown, when you look at it, because it teaches us it teaches us the value of being earnest. In other words, convicted by what we believe in and not surrendering our dreams just for one disappointing outcome. Winning is something that we all have that at the forefront of our minds whenever we set out to do something. And sometimes we've always been told to think positive, no matter what, think positive, because if you think that you're going to lose, then that's what's going to happen. And sometimes that logic holds some truth. But my reasoning on this is that sometimes you do, when you set out on your goals, when you set out on this journey, you will win some. But you always should keep in mind that you're going to lose some too. That just because the odds may be stacked in your favor, you think that it's a win-win situation, that there's no way you could possibly lose. Trust and believe you can. You can lose, you can fail by being overconfident. And and I don't ever want anyone, I want you to have confidence because that's important. You need to believe in yourself, because a lot of times, other people won't believe in you. They won't believe in what you do. They will try to discourage you instead of encourage you. So I want you to most definitely believe in yourself, but I also want you to go into this thought process with a clear mind, with a clear view that the possibility of losing, of not winning is there. It's always there. But the possibility of winning is always greater, especially when you think of it as being possible, because remember, possible is in the word impossible. And like I said, failure is, it can be a strength. It does not have to be something that weakens you. It only weakens you when you let it win. And like I said again, failures will come. They're just like trials in life. We all have them. We go through them every day. And those trials are not made to make you weak. They're there to make you strong. Just like failure is not there to make you weak. It's there to make you strong. It's there to make you rational, to make you realize that that you are not invincible. We would like to think that we are, but we're not. And, it just keeps you grounded. It keeps you anchored in reality to let you know that that the possibility of winning is always far greater than losing. But like I said before, you have to acknowledge the fact that failure is a possibility. But it does not have to be the last word on anything, because with failures do come more failure. But if you keep striving, if you keep pushing forward, you can turn those failures into wins. And that is what I'm trying to get across to you today. I want you to realize your strengths, and at the same time realize your weaknesses, because we all have them. We are not, again, invincible. We all have frailties. We are not infallible. We would like to think that we are sometimes, but we're not. And I just think that we all sometimes need that reality check. To know that we can achieve any opposition by just overcoming the adversity, because it's there. But the way you overcome adversity is by achieving And you have to remember that. You always have to press forward. You always have to be bigger, than the issue that's holding you back. Now, you always have to believe that anything is obtainable. You just have to try harder to get it. And I've often said that the best things in life, they often come by trials and tribulation, because you worked hard to get it. Anything worth having is worth working for. And sometimes you have to work, like I said, just a little bit harder to get it. And that's okay. I don't want anything that comes too easily, because when it does, that means it can go just as easily. I'd rather have something that I know that I've worked for, that I put time into, that I've put value on, because that way it means so much more than than not working hard for it. My parents used to tell me, they brought us up in a household where, they believed in you work for what you wanted. You didn't wait around for someone to give you anything, because you might be waiting for a very long time. But they always instilled in us that hard work is the key to anything. And you have to believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will either. And that's sad to say, but, it's the truth. So, sometimes we do have to, we have to be self-assured. And sometimes this gets a little tricky, because, it sort of falls into the way of being prideful. Now, in certain situations, pride is something that we need to have. It's like covering. It's like, putting on our socks and shoes and our clothes. It is something that we need to think of it as equipment, and not to overuse it, but to know that we should have pride, because the pride I'm talking about is self-esteem. Those things that don't make us overconfident, but make us confident. Those things that gives us strength instead of trying to overwhelm. Pride in the sense of to encourage ourselves, and and not to discourage others by making ourselves bigger than what we really are. That was one of this past Wednesday in our Bible study. That was one of the things that we studied about being prideful. And I understand, where that's coming from. Because it's not taken out of context, and that's not what I'm trying to say. But I understand it in that context as it relates to biblical principles. But in this principle over here that I'm talking about is a different type of pride. Is self-encouragement, self-belief, all of these things that are dealing with, positive traits and not negative traits. So I just wanted to make that distinction. But anyway, winning, when we overcome adversity by achieving, is the blueprint for success, as long as you believe it is attainable. And trust me, it is. Winning, overcoming by achieving should be our battle cry when we face difficulties, challenging moments, and disappointments. Remember, all things are possible when we learn to overcome by achieving. Okay, folks, so I went the long way around just to say that, but I hope that you understood exactly what I was saying in the midst of all of that. I hope you got the point that I was trying to make. Okay, so before I let you go, I always want to give you out these URLs, and just to give you an update too on what is coming in the coming weeks of March. These last 2 weeks of March. Last week, the show wasn't live; it was pre-recorded, and I hope you listened to it, and I hope you got something out of it. But I had recorded that show back in February because I was trying to accommodate the guest, because they're like in another country and they are like 6 hours ahead of us. So I understood them not being able to do the show at 6 o'clock because it would have been midnight where they were. But I did appreciate how much the guests did work with me to be able to do the show. And so that was last week's show. And this week, of course, it's a live show, but I'm not interviewing any authors. And I won't this Saturday and I won't next Saturday either. They will be live shows, but I won't be interviewing authors. But the very next show, and I don't know the date, it may be the 22nd, 23rd of March. It'll be the 4th. No, wait a minute. It'll be the 3rd Saturday. Yeah, that's it. The 3rd and 4th Saturday of this month. I will have guests on the show. The first one is an author who actually she was supposed to have been on today, but her book wasn't ready. It hadn't been released yet. And so she wanted to make sure that her book was out before she actually came on the show so we could talk about that. So Cherie, I don't want to mess up her name. Autumn Cherry is her name. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't mess that up. But anyway, she will be our author, our guest next Saturday on the show. And I hope you'll tune in to listen to her, to listen to, what she has to say about her work. And she's a very interesting author. She's done other things than just write books. But I'll let her tell you all of the great things that she's done, but she's out of Pennsylvania. So I'm looking forward to doing that interview. And then on the fourth Saturday of this month, I will be interviewing a poet. So I'm looking forward to that. Her last name is Ballantyne. I think it's KD. I don't want to mess it up. But anyway, it's 2 initials. And then, of course, her last name is Ballantyne. I did get that right. I know I got that much right. But anyway, I'll update you on that next Saturday to make sure that I have her name right. Give her that respect that is due. Next Saturday, live show, no author. The 3rd and 4th Saturdays, we will have author guests on the show. And so right now I'm currently trying to book authors for April and May. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm just extremely busy in, booking guests for the show and, writing the scripts and things like that. But it's something that I love so very much. And I want to, bring these guests on the show so they can share their experiences, with writers. I hope it's got an ambulance or some sirens in the background. I hope that doesn't pick up. But anyway, and I want them to share their experiences, with the audience, those that may be up and coming and, and some that may even be established. You never get too far in your career that you can't learn something new. I always think of it as a closed fist. If you keep your hand fisted too tight, nothing can get in, nothing can get out. So, and we don't ever want to, to get to that stage in our lives to where, we can't learn anything more. We always should want to learn as much as we can, as much as possible while we can. So that's another reason why I wanted to bring guests on the show to do something a little bit different for 2019. And, maybe for the coming year or even the coming months, I may even have a co-guest. So, a moderator. Well, I won't say moderator, but co-host. Yeah, I think that's better on the show. Just look forward to me just mixing it up a little bit, trying to make things different. Not too different, but just to make it more interesting for you. All right, so now that I've told you that, now let me tell you this. So, of course, the show is broadcast on Spreaker every Saturday at 6 p.m. And that URL is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian E. Moore. You can also find me on all of the social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you would just click on the link to the first one that I gave you, It'll also have the links for all the social media outlets that I'm on. I'm going to stop giving you out all these URLs for you to write down, because it's not necessary when you can just click on that one link and it'll take you to all the other ones, including my webpage. So I hope that you will go out there and take a look at what's new. The only one, I don't think it'll give you my blog site address, so I'm going to give you that one. And that one is https://vivianemore.blogspite.com. And you can also check out the show if you didn't hear the live broadcast today. You can listen to it on iTunes and also iHeartRadio.com. Those are the recorded shows, but they're just as good as the live ones. So, but I would rather you listen to the show live if you can. But anyway, I just wanted to share those things with you. And also, tomorrow's worship day, so I hope you're planning on going to church and taking some family members with you, some friends and some children, because they definitely need to be in the house of the Lord. And tell somebody that you love them, because tomorrow is not promised. Today may be the only chance you get to say that. So I love you. I hope you love me back. And until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.
Thanks for listening.
If you enjoyed today's show, please head over to iTunes, give us a rating, and leave a review.
Download episodes of previous shows,